Hi, I'm Ben. Welcome to the British Council English Tips. Today, we're talking about modifying comparisons. Do you know how to use phrases like much shorter than, almost as fit as, and exactly the same as? Look at these examples to see how we can use modifying comparisons. He's much shorter than his brother. Our hotel room was exactly the same as the photos showed. There are several different ways to compare things in English. We can also modify comparisons to show big or small differences. We can use comparative adjectives to compare things. You're much taller than I am. Max is much more interesting than Judy. We can use as adjective as to say that two things are the same, or not as adjective as to say that they are different. For example, his hair is as short as mine. The weather's not as nice as it was yesterday. We can also use phrases such as different from, similar to, and the same as. England is different from the United Kingdom. His car is similar to mine. The results from the first test are the same as the results from the second test. We can use much, so much, a lot, or even far with comparative adjectives. For example, sales in July were far higher than sales in June. We can use nowhere near with as adjective as. For example, the interview was nowhere near as difficult as the written test. We can use very, completely, or totally with different from. For example, they're twins, but they're completely different from each other. We can use slightly, a little, a bit, a little bit, or not much with comparative adjectives. For example, houses in my city are not much more expensive than flats. We can use almost, nearly, not quite, roughly, more or less, or about with as adjective as or the same as. For example, she's almost as old as I am, or the figures were more or less the same for May and June. We can use very or really with similar to. For example, my son looks really similar to my father when he was at that age. We can use exactly the same as or just as adjective as to show that there is no difference. For example, a new smartphone can be just as expensive as a new computer these days. If you want to upgrade your English, then come to the British Council.